So as you pull your hips back to your heels with the knees a little bit wide, drop the belly between the thighs, reach those fingers forward, drop the head, the chest, the abdomen down towards the ground. Once you're there, the breath comes in through the nose, fills up the belly and the low back and the waist. There's just a moment of a hold at the top. And then an easy breath all the way out. With this next inhale, let's extend the hold at the top of the breath. Hold that for 3, for 2, and 1. And the exhale will be the same duration. 3, 2, 1. Hold empty for 3, 2, and 1. And then breath in for 3, 2, 1, to a hold. Continue with that same cycle of box breathing for a few more rounds. If you need to breathe a little quicker, you just quicken the count. As you find some ease, you can lengthen the count, lengthen the holds. Make note if you tend to run out of time with the inhale or the exhale, is one of those feeling more challenging tonight. When you're in those moments of quiet on the top and bottom sides of the box, what does the mind do? Are you focused on the count? Do you find yourself distracted? Is it hard to stay right there? Let's take in one more full breath. Get as big, as wide as you can be. Taking another little sip. And then blowing out through the mouth with a bit of sound. Come on up and let's just find table. As we arrive, we set the shoulders over the wrists, the hips over the knees. Bring the head through some long nods. Slow enough that you can hear and feel what's going on. And then rotations left and right. Let's bring this into scapular movement, drawing the shoulder blades together behind and then pushing the ground away to draw the shoulders forward. And we should look to see if we can find that pushing engagement happening in the chest and down the sides of the rib cage. Serratus anterior is responsible for this protraction of the shoulder. So we just like to see if we can notice that. Ideally, we do. And then finding neutral, let's lift and tuck the tailbone. So it's a gentle cat-cow, really focused in on the lumbar spine. And then go ahead and expand to full spinal cat-cow. Tucking the chin, tucking the tailbone, rounding the back. Inhaling as you drop the belly, lift the tail, the chest, the chin. And go through a couple more. Feel free to start shimmying into the sides and see what else there is to explore. And then soften the arms, the elbows, the shoulders. Start playing with some twisting here of the upper body. You're almost just looking to see today, Thursday, 7 p.m., how does your body feel? Does it feel good to go through these shapes? Is there a place that feels kind of funky? And then let's plant the hands, tuck the toes. Let's push back to first dog. Pedal through the heels. Work your way up onto the toes. Get some length into the bottom of the feet. Bring rotation into the ribs and the hips. Shrug the shoulders to the ears, pushing the ground away. Then draw the shoulders back onto the ribs. And then let's put a bend back into the knees. We're going to come all the way down to the ground, all the way back to child's pose. Dragging the fingers as we pull the hips back. Let belly, chest, head, chin sink to the floor. And then put active pressure down through the palms. See if you can start to engage the armpits and the chest. Almost like you can try to push yourself up with those long arms. Pushing down, creating strength. And then pulling into those hands to come forward. Tuck toes all the way back again to dog. Pedal the heels. Shimmy left, right. Scan your body from top to bottom. What's feeling tight tonight? Where is there excess tension? Where do things feel really good? Do your hips or your shoulders feel better than you might expect? And then taking a little breath in, soften the knees all the way down. We're going to pull back to child's pose. Reach the arms forward, press the hands into the ground, engage through the chest and the armpits. And then start to find a little bit of a side-to-side rock, just a little bit of a shimmy of the rib cage. It could even look like reaching one hand way in front of you and getting a gentle stretch down the sides of the waist. So even in these restful poses, it's nice to keep moving. It's nice to keep a bit of gentle engagement. And then breathing in, hands pull you forward into table. Hips come back high and down facing dog. And then let's put a bend in the knees as we walk the hands back to the feet. Deep forward fold, easy hang here. One more time, checking in with the spine. Take the head through a few long nods. Cervical flexion and extension. And then go into rotation with your nose. Couple big circles. Reverse. Let the head hang heavy. Roll your right shoulder in circles. And can you do that without the elbow bending or not bending much? So we don't want to use the muscles of the bicep and the tricep to pull. We want to use just the prime movers of the shoulder blade. Reverse the direction. And then quiet the right shoulder, let the arm hang, left shoulder, some circles. Consider if it feels smooth. Is it lubricated with smooth peanut butter or with chunky? And then reverse the direction. And let both shoulders hang, let the arms and the head hang heavy. Put a little bit of a softness into the knees. Drape yourself even closer to the ground. Let the whole upper body give way into gravity. And inhaling, roll the spine. Come all the way up to standing. At the top, we'll inhale and sweep the arms, lift them to the ceiling. Look up, a little bit of back bend if you like. And palms together, we'll exhale and find prayer. Let's inhale, sweep those arms wide, lift, reach, look to the ceiling. Keeping the arms overhead, pulling the hips back into a high chair position. So there's not a lot of knee bend here. Then close the eyes, and I want you to drop your attention to the bottoms of your feet. Shift your weight a little bit towards the balls of your feet, and then back towards the heels. And just dance between those two forces, between those two pressure points, rather. Keeping a little bit of a lift through the arch, that line that comes up and spins from the ankle towards the knee. Shift your weight a little bit to the left foot and then to the right foot. Just see if the pressure points are even between the feet. And then come back to stillness, the feet balanced. And finally, very, very subtly here, roll towards the inside edge of the foot and then the outside edge of the foot. Notice as you roll to the outside edge, the pinky gets a little bit heavier. As you roll to the inside edge, the big toe gets really heavy. Move around a bit and then find the happy medium where the pinky bears weight, but you can gently grip with the big toe. And then settle into that position. Finally, feel your mat underneath your soles. How sticky is it? How textured? How much do you sink into it, or does it support? We're just going to be here for another full breath in. And as you breathe out, dive forward, hands to the ground. Let's walk the hands forward, down facing dog. And then pausing here. Scan your body from your fingertips, through the shoulders, through the hips, down the legs and into the feet. Notice how things are tonight. Then let's bring the big toes together. On inhale, sweep the right heel up and behind. Bend the knee, open the hips, circle the knee in space, cycling around, creating rotational movement inside the hip socket. Try to keep the right hand well weighted. It tends to get heavy as we pull, or light as we pull away from it. Reverse the direction of the hip circles. And then reach that leg straight back behind you. Push through the hands and the torso. Drive that foot into the wall behind. We're going to hold here for 4. Build some energy here. Build some strength and pressure. 3. 2. Little breath in, and we're going to step that right foot forward to the outside of the right hand. We'll bring the left knee down, and we're going to turn the right toes out at about 45 degrees. Let's peel that knee open. Find a bit of movement here, moving the knee in small circles. Squeeze the glutes, gently pushing the hips towards the floor. Keep some easy movement. And then turning that foot back to neutral and framing the right foot with both hands. Lift the back leg, push to a straight, strong left knee. Left hand presses to ground, right arm reaches to ceiling. We come into our twist. And we're going to work through the arm. Let's wiggle the fingers overhead. Get those joints and the pulley tendons moving as friends. Quiet the fingers and rotate the wrist in circles. So we just like to go joint by joint as much as we can. Reverse the direction. And just generate some easy, friendly movement. Quiet the wrist. Lock the shoulder blade on the rib cage and draw small arms, small circles with the right arm overhead. So we start to see the difference between shoulder movement and the movement of the arm in that socket. Reverse the direction. And then finally, unlock the shoulder blade. Big sweeping circles towards the ground, all the way around. You might even be able to pull that arm behind you and open into a bigger twist as you go. Explore the full range of motion that your ribs, your shoulder, and the glenohumeral joint can give you. Reverse the direction. You notice all those places that are maybe a little sticky. Sometimes there's spots where it feels like the shoulder, the arm just doesn't want to go for some reason. Just take stock. Next time that arm is reached to the ceiling, we'll keep it overhead for a moment. Take one more full breath in, plant the right hand on inside of right foot, and then we're going to spin open to the left, reach the left arm to the ceiling. And let's try to stay on the ball of that left foot. There we go. So we get to keep the hips square and make this more of a twist, more of a torso opener. And we're just going to hold here for 4, 3, always drawing that left shoulder back, because we don't worry about the shoulder, but the shoulder is going to open the rib cage and the chest, and that's a nice thing. 3, 2, small inhale, look down, plant the hand, step back, find plank, lower to the knees, hips to heels, child's pose. Find your length in child's pose first. And then let's walk the hands over to the right side, something like 45 degrees. And your right arm doesn't get to do a whole lot of pulling, but you can keep walking those left fingers away. Think about finding as much length and looking for tension between your left fingertips and your left hip socket. So maybe it's in the elbow, maybe it's in the shoulder, maybe it's in the side of the ribs, maybe it's right over that hip. But find that tension. We don't do it specifically for the stretch. We do it for the awareness. We do it so we can see, we can assess, we can learn. We'll hold here for a couple more breaths. And as you take in your next breath, walk the hands through center and around to the left side. The left arm only pulls so hard, but those right fingers keep on walking. You find length from right shoulder to right hip, even into the armpit, maybe the elbow. Get long. Take a deep breath in, and as you breathe in, push that air towards the right side of the waist. Are the tension spots the same on the right as on the left? Be here for a few more breaths. As you take in your next breath, inhale and come through center. Plant the hands and lift the hip or lift the chest up, finding first into table and then pushing back into down facing dog. Into dog, big toes come together. Left heel sweeps up behind. Bend the knee, open the hip. Point the toes to the other side and circle the knee in big rotations in space. Keep some weight in the left hand. Don't let all of your body weight shift over to the right. How's the hip feel? Is it smooth? Is it clunky? Reverse the direction. Is it well lubricated tonight? Sometimes the difference is just how well the brain can talk to it, whether or not the control is there. And next inhale, level the hips, straighten that left leg, shoot it to the wall behind you. Big reach back. Strength through the arms, through the torso, through the leg. We'll hold for 4, 3, 2, and 1. Step left foot forward outside of left hand. Turn foot out at 45. Peel that knee out and down. Squeeze the glutes, push the hips forward. Right knee is on the ground. Little circles here. Little bit of gentle movement. And then walking the foot to the center line and squaring the hands around it. Lift the back leg, strong right leg. Right hand presses to floor, so we're still low in our lunge. Twist open to left. Left arm reaches to ceiling. Then wiggle the fingers. Bring easy movement into the joints. Quiet the fingers and rotate the wrist. Reverse direction. Quiet the wrist and lock the shoulder in place. Circles through the up arm. And reverse. And then unlock the shoulder. Big sweeping circles through the left arm. Take up as much space as you can get. As you pull that arm back and up, if you slow down, you might actually find that you can move the whole rib cage into some rotation. It's a really nice place to go. And then let's reverse the direction on those. A couple big sweeps the other way. Notice if there are those corners that the shoulder seems resistant to go into. It's all right. Go a little slower. Be patient with it. And then next time that left arm is to the ceiling, we're going to reach it up vigorously one more time. With an inhale and exhale, look down, plant the left hand, spin open to the right, staying on the ball of that right foot, a short hold here into our reverse twist, pulling the shoulder back, prying the chest open, holding for 4, 3, 2, 1. Small breath in, look down, plant the hands, step back, find plank. And we're just going to take our first plank hold tonight. Strong through the chest, glutes squeezed. Imagine there's a rubber ball between your knees and another one between your ankles, and you're going to squeeze onto those. We're going to hold for 4. The tailbone is lightly tucked under, so our low back has a little bit of rounding. The beauty there is it shortens the abs, which lets them be even stronger than they would be. 3, 2. Little inhale, knees ground. Let's take hips, heels. Wide kneed child's pose. Open the hips as far as they will go this time. And then as you sink your hips and your chest down, keep a little bit of wiggle, keep a little bit of movement. Most of us spend a bit too much time static through the day. No reason to be that here. A little bit of movement goes a long way. We're just going to hold for 4, 3, 2, and 1. Inhaling, walk the hands back, lift the chest. Plant hands, tuck toes. Let's find down facing dog. And we're going to go through a standing sequence here. We'll just take one trip through and just explore some shapes, fairly short holds, big toes together to connect. Inhale, right heel sweeps up behind. Step the right foot forward and through. Sweep up to high lunge, staying on the ball of the left foot. Bringing a deeper bend into that back knee. Let's come into a short twist. Right arm reaches back, left hand to right knee. Shoulders back, chest open. Gaze follows to the right side. For 3. For 2. And 1. Inhale, unwind and sweep the arms up. We're going to come to easy balance here. Hands to ground. Left leg floats up behind. Maybe you keep 10 fingers on the ground. Maybe you bring the right hand up to half prayer. Maybe both hands come up full prayer. Whatever is your spot tonight is beautiful. 5. 4. 3. 2. And 1. Land the left foot behind, returning to lunge. Let's bring the arms back up overhead. And then turning the left foot down as we set up for warrior 2. Inhale into reversal, straighten the left leg, reach the right arm back overhead. And then keeping that right knee pretty straight, reach the right arm forward, setting up for triangle, big reach. Hand falls to inside, twist left, look up, reach up. create strength from your right armpit to the right hip. 5. And then create strength on the top side. Pull the left shoulder down the side of the waist. 4. 3. 2. Small breath in, look down and unwind. Soften the front knee, turn onto the ball of the left foot, plant the hands, step on back to plank. Lower through the push-up, either on the knees or on the feet, your choice. Let's come all the way down. Inhale into a little back bend, just finding cobra. Staying low with it, shoulders retract, glutes squeeze, legs straight, reaching behind with the toes. 4. 3. Use the muscles of the back to lift you into the extension. 2. And 1. Tuck toes and push on back, down facing dog. We'll pause here for a moment, catch your breath, and check in with your thoughts. Is the mind racing or is it still? We don't even need to change it. We just want to be sure that we know. And big toes come to connect. Through on the left side, inhale, left heel sweeps up behind. Bring the left foot forward between the hands. Sweep the arms, come on up, high lunge. Deep bend into the right knee. Left hand falls and draws back. Right hand crosses, and we look back into our twist for 4. 3. Squeeze the inner thighs together for strength. 2. And 1. Inhale, sweep arms, look up, reach up. Throw the hands to the ground. Right leg floats up behind. Maybe left hand comes up to half prayer. Maybe right hand comes up as well. Full prayer. 5. 4. 3. 2. And 1. Lower the right foot behind, finding lunge. Turning it down as if for warrior 2. Cartwheel, right arm up and over. Inhale, straighten left leg. Pull back, open left side body. Keeping the left leg relatively straight. A little micro bend is always a healthy thing. Reaching that left arm forward out over the left leg, getting as long as you can get through the hips and the waist. Hand falls, right arm reaches to ceiling. Gaze goes up, rib cage twists open. And let's generate strength from the right shoulder down to the right hip. And then the same strength you built on the top, build that on the bottom side as well. We're here for 5. And give this one just a little bit of extra juice. We're going to go to the ground right after this. 4. 3. 2. And 1 little breath in. Look down and plant the hands, softening into the leg and turning to the ball of the right foot. Step back, find plank. And then let's take our side plank series here. Right hand to the center line of the mat. Turn to the outside edge of the right foot. Open the chest and left arm goes to the ceiling. You can, of course, take any scaling you like. You can unstack the left foot. You can put the left foot in front of the right knee. But just like we were working in triangle, shoulders down into the rib cage. We're not trying to retract them back. We want to depress them and build strength through the lats and serratus anterior. And we're going to hold just for 3. For 2. And we're going to go directly to the other side. So keep your mojo. Keep that heat up. And 1. Look down. Plant the hand gently. Twist. Rotate. Open. Scale as needed. Squeeze the glutes. Push the hips forward. Think of going into a little bit of a back bend. Surprisingly, most of us are a little curled forward, so open the chest, open the hips and push. We're going to hold for 3. For 2. Little breath in, look down and plant. Knees ground, hips super wide into child's. While you're there, wag your tail. Imagine that a trusted friend has grabbed onto your hips and is pulling your hips backwards as you glue your fingers to the ground like a gecko and find some length. And as usual, we're not after a stretch as much as we're trying to find the source of the tension, find the resistance. Breathe to that, and then let it go. And inhaling, walk the hands back, lift the chest. Swing the legs around in front. And we're just going to come to bound angle pose, and we'll take this bound angle, seated forward fold, as a yin shape tonight. So we'll give this a few minutes of joy. Thumbs to the bottoms of the feet, roll the feet open like a book, rock the hips, get connected, sitting bones to floor, shoulders back and chest open. Take a little breath in and begin your lean forward. And you're trying to reach your collarbone out over the feet, wherever that gets to. Once you run into resistance, stop and pause. Take another little bit of a breath in. And then as you exhale, move through that resistance very gently. Lean into it. And then finally, let the chin fall. Let the back round. Maybe the elbows put a little bit of downward pressure into the shins, or maybe you walk the hands forward and let the forearms sink to the floor. Now, the places where this shape will generate tension and feedback is going to be different for each of us. Could be in the low back, could be the upper back, maybe it's in the hips, maybe it's in the hamstrings. Wherever you see your tension show up, just acknowledge it. Just notice it. If something feels bad, if it feels sketchy, it probably is, and it's worth adjusting away from that. But if it's just a little bit unpleasant, see if you can notice it and remove any judgment from it. And over a few moments, maybe it'll change. We're going to give this a little bit more time. So maybe you stay right where you are. Maybe the thing to do is actually aim to sink in a little bit further. Or maybe you need to back out by a degree or two. Take a full breath in. Staying where you are, let it all the way out. Next inhale, walk the hands back, lift the chest slowly. Bring the hands behind you so that you can lean back to unload the hips. Bring the feet out in front. Plant them with the knees bent. Let's come through some dips, left and right, slow and controlled. So those yin shapes have a tendency to work on the connective tissue, on the tendons, the ligaments, and the fascia, which are all basically the same structure, just doing different jobs. And when we work the fascia, we've got to allow time for those tissues to reabsorb a bunch of fluid, get re-lubricated so everything is working well. And then let's roll onto our back. Let's draw the right knee into the chest, reaching the left leg away. Give it a good squeeze in. And then we're going to take a knee down twist before we go to figure four. Pull the left knee, or the right knee rather, all the way across the body, all the way to the ground on the right side. And once that knee is down, you can always take the left arm overhead to rest the head down, and then reach the right arm to the ceiling. As you inhale, reach up as high as it'll go, moving the shoulder blade. And then as you exhale, pull the shoulder down and pull your elbow down towards your hip, keeping the forearm vertical. Inhale, reach up to the ceiling. Shrug a little bit at the top. Exhale, pull the shoulder down, and the elbow comes a little behind the back. And then reach up again. And then sweep the right arm in a few big circles, shoulder fully unlocked. Keep the right knee glued to the floor. Go slower in those bits that feel a little bit off, a little bit chunky or glitchy. And then reverse the direction. And the next time the right arm is behind you, let it fall back. Maybe it'll feel good to go to cactus elbow. Maybe you just take it straight. And we'll hold for 4. And this doesn't have to be the most relaxing position. But we try to locally relax. We try to let the hip and the shoulder and the ribs soften and give way to gravity. Here for 3. For 2. And 1. Press into the right foot and roll back to neutral. Plant the left foot on the ground, and then the right foot will go on top of the left knee, coming into figure 4 for our hip opener. Right hand reaches through that triangle, both hands to the front of the left knee. Squeeze in, pull in. I suggest curling your chest and your chin up towards that knee. Get snug. We'll hold here for 5. 4. 3. 2. And 1. Gently release the grip. Uncross the right leg, reach it out along the ground. Rotate that right leg in the hip socket. Let's just find a bit of movement before we move on. Left knee, both hands pull it into the chest, give it a squeeze. Press the back of the right leg down into the ground. And then right hand pulls the left knee all the way across the body, down to the floor. Full connection. And that connection is important. It protects the low back by keeping the hip in place so that our twist goes into the upper back. Maybe you rest the head on the right arm. Left arm reaches to the ceiling. Inhale into a bit of a shrug. Exhale, pull it down. And then draw the elbow behind the back. Forearm staying kind of vertical. Inhale, reach. Shrug. Exhale, retract the shoulder and retract the elbow down. Inhale, reach left arm to ceiling, or right arm rather. Swirl, that is the left arm, isn't it? Big swirling circles. Then as that arm goes behind you, maybe you can feel it pulling the upper ribs into a little bit of twist. Enjoy that. That's exactly why we do this. Reverse the direction. Next time the left arm is behind you, let it fall back. Maybe cactus, maybe it hangs heavy. So just closing the eyes. Here for 4. Relax into the twist. Let gravity pull you. 3. 2. And 1. Roll to your back. Plant the right foot. Left ankle to the top of the right knee. Reach through that triangle with the left hand. Grab hold of the right knee with both. Pull it in. Squeeze it in. Tuck the chin. Lift the chest. Get tight. Close the eyes. Maybe you even give the low back a little massage with a gentle rock. We'll be here for 5. 4. 3. 3, 2, and 1. Release the grip and slowly extend both legs out on the ground. Once the legs are extended, roll the feet, rock the legs around. Find some movement into the hip sockets here. You might even enjoy bending the knees a little bit and rocking as we did, coming out of our bound angle forward fold. Let's close out with happy baby before we go to corpse. So bending the knees in, taking them wide, slide the hands up the inner legs and grab hold of the ankles or the shin, pointing the feet straight up to the ceiling. And only go for the feet here if you can keep the whole spine on the ground. Otherwise, get what you can get, even just grabbing the backs of the knees. Close the eyes and pull those knees to the ground, wide around your chest. And again, that opportunity to add a little bit of rock, a little bit of roll. We'll be here for 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Slowly extending the legs out along the ground. Bring the hands to the sides, palms facing to the ceiling, fingertips spread wide. Squeeze the glutes, draw them under the hips, and then relax and let the pelvis sink to the floor. Draw the shoulder blades together, puffing up the chest. And then let them relax as the ribs sink to the ground. And then follow the thoughts. Step back and notice the pace of the mind. No need to control or avoid the thoughts that show up. In fact, our best bet is to notice them, acknowledge them, and then immediately disengage. The things we need will come back. They will show up. Let your mind settle into the darkness. If you start getting bogged down or connected to a thought, just come back to the next breath in through the nose. Gently start to wiggle the fingers and the toes. Bring gentle movement back to the extremities. Reach the arms overhead. Lengthen out from top to bottom. Take up as much room as you can, feeling the places of contact with the floor. And then hugging the knees into the chest. Curl up into a fetal position. Hold yourself tight. And then let the body fall to one side. And pause here for a moment. And just consider, what do you need the next few days to take care of yourself? Do you need some quiet time? Do you need to disconnect? Is it a little bit more high-quality food? Is it some high-quality movement? Do you need a hard workout? Do you need to go for an easy walk? Whatever it is, set that intention. And know that that'll be there for you. Know that that is the thing that you will do to take care of yourself.